Welcome back to the podcast. This is Matt Eagle from Eagle AI Agency. I'm here with Sylvia. If you've been following along, we've been interviewing a lot of CEOs, business owners in the coaching space, professional services, IT recruiting, and HR. Just talking about how the business got started, as well as like how has technology changed in IT, and then how did AI kind of play a role into 2026. So I have Sylvia here. If you can introduce yourself and your business, and then we'll jump right into the questions.
Okay, well, I'm Sylvia Lafair, PhD, clinical psychologist, family therapist, leadership development coach, mother, annoying person, fun at times, and that's me.
It's amazing. Tell us a little bit about your business and how it got started. I remember we first talked, it was an amazing story. So, like, kind of the epicenter of your business, and then where is it to today?
Well, the epicenter of the business, I was thinking about this after you and I talked on the pre-podcast, is about curiosity.
Mm.
I'm a curious person, and I just want to throw this out to everybody. Curiosity didn't kill the cat. I
Mm.
think,
Yeah.
and the cat has 9 lives anyway, so what the hell? But I would never be on this program with you if I hadn't said, oh, maybe there's something else.
Mm.
I grew up in a, perfectly, quote, normal family, although somebody gave me the best definition of normal. It's somebody you don't know very well.
That's true. 100% true.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway, um, and my choice was to become a psychologist because as a kid I always watched people saying, why do they do what they do?
Mm.
And why do they complain so much?
Mm.
And I'd listen to my mother on the phone with her friends back in the day when I was a little kid. Curious, I'd kind of sit on the floor in the other room and sort of eavesdrop on what she was talking about. And I thought, God, they go over the same stuff all the time. They
Mm.
like this one, they don't like that one. And the ones they like, they don't say much about. And the ones they don't like, they would chat about a lot.
Mm.
It never made sense to me. So as I moved into the realm of psychology, I thought, where could I make the most impact?
Mm.
And I decided, whether it was right or wrong, doesn't matter, it was my decision, that it was working with the family because you
Mm.
got the essential model.
Mm.
And from there, that's what I was going to do. And then maybe, I don't know, go off and just sit in the sun and drink margaritas or something after that.
Yeah.
And it's a story I've told a million times, but it's where this curiosity landed me with you.
Mm.
So one evening we were doing a program. This was in suburban Philadelphia. And I did a lot of work with schools and kids who were having problems. And I always saw there too that if you peeled it down, the family was at the core of it, not the kid. I mean, the kid
Mhm.
had his or her part in it,
Right.
but still, we were doing a program based for parents whose teenagers were, you know, they weren't happy with them. The room was packed. And at the end, a man walked up to me, and this was where curiosity won, and I had a new career.
Yeah.
He, out of the blue, said, will you come work with my senior leadership team? Meant nothing. I said, why? He said, because they're fighting. I said, so what? People fight. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm making families better. I really had not enough interest at that moment in the work world, but he said, come on, Sylvia, just see what you can do, and I'll pay you nicely. And so it was intriguing, and he paid me nicely.
Yeah.
And what I saw was, I'll be darned. It's the
Mm.
same dynamics I saw in the family that I saw at work. And somewhere, because of that curiosity, it was not just getting paid well. I'm being a little flippant about that. It
Yeah.
was curiosity that really pulled me there. It was so interesting when I saw that what we learned, and I've called it that, our original organization, which is the family, is what shows up in our present organization at work.
Mm.
Here's not what I put together. I decided I was calling you Matthew, but anyway,
Doesn't matter to me at all. Yeah.
I know we talked about that, but anyway, what I saw, and here's the piece: we have created work to be very similar to the family,
Mm.
and that means We have bosses like parents. We have coworkers like siblings. We have salaries like allowances, and we even have timeouts called performance improvement plans.
My little pit plans.
An old PIP plan. And it's so similar. And what I saw over and over, I mean, it took years for me to kind of connect the dots. And with my team, they, a lot of the coaches I've worked with have been with me for a long time. We pulled it together. The same behavior patterns you learned as a kid show up in the present organization at work.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if as a kid, well, let me just throw this in really quickly. If as a kid you were in a family that argued a lot, often the kid became an avoider, and when there's conflict at work, they're out the door. Okay? If you were in a family where there was a super achiever, me guy or gal who was a brother or sister, then you see that at work. I'm the one with all the answers. Pay attention to me. Okay?
Mm.
So I saw that and I developed 13 patterns that are the most common. There are more. When I wrote the book, Don't Bring It to Work, they said, can you skim it down, slim it down to Ozempic wasn't around in those days. So I said, no, I can't slim it down from 13. I should have, would have, could have, but the 13 is a great number
Super
for
important.
what we're doing. And that's what I work with now.
Yeah.
And anyway, I don't want to keep talking. So,
No,
yes,
this is all about you. That's exactly what I want to hear. Yeah, this is all about you. So now, as a business, right? So how long has your business been open for?
my God, for 30 plus years.
Yeah. How have you seen business transform from getting clients to how people interact with new clients? Like I'm sure you're not in a position now where you're like feeding for pipeline and like trying to create sales and do those things, but how have you seen business really kind of evolve in the last 30 years?
Well, obviously, the internet has made vast changes. Obviously, social media has made vast
Yeah.
changes. I happen to like AI. It confuses me. I don't, for me, it's like when I get in a car to drive it, I just, push the button and I don't really think about what goes on in the motor. Same thing with AI. But I am telling you, it feels real to me. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's going away.
No.
I mean, I, I see it as a partner.
Yeah.
I mean, we can become slaves to it if we want to.
Hmm.
And I've seen people who said, where I said, well, what are you about thinking it? And they thinking it this way. And they say, well, AI said not to. I said, okay. And then what? Is AI going to give you a raise? Is that guy going to cure you of cancer?
Yeah.
Although they're saying now that AI can predict health things, they
Yeah.
can't give you the right medicines yet for it. So I don't know. It's so exciting if you can see it that way, and
Mm.
it's probably it's like the beginning of the industrial revolution.
It really is. It really. I'm so fired up about it. My goal for me, I don't know. I kind of want the Ford, right? When the first car came out, where it's
Yeah,
affordable for each person and you learn how to drive it. That's what I'm trying to build with what I have, right? Because a lot of people they white label it, they color it, they put the engine in. It's the same as a Ford, but now because you don't know how to build it, it's worth $10,000 a month versus hey, this is actually not that hard to build, right? So, but I think that if people don't start stepping into AI within the next 2 years, you will be lost. It will have evolved from white label to another connection to another connection at such a wide range and it evolves so quickly that you're gonna just get it lost in it. You're gonna be like, I don't even know what's going on. So I tell people all the time, you got to start now so things stay simple long term. You know how it works. You know what works for you. You know when you need to call an expert and when you don't, right? Same thing with your laptop. You're like, hey, I can probably turn the button off and turn it back on and it's fixed, right? But then you're like, oh, I should probably take it into Apple because something deeper is broken, right? So a lot of people they don't even know what the computer does, what the AI does in the first place. And a lot of the bots that are built that are white labeled and sold at a high cost are typically just two connectors put together on the back end, which you can do, and you can do it for $20 and they'll sell it to you for 10,000, right? And it's just so unaffordable for a lot of people. And
but
if
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
okay.
finish.
Yeah, and if it stays unaffordable for the regular person, I put out a social media post probably 2 days ago on TikTok. And he was like, yeah, I wish that the elites weren't holding on to all the great tools and then we can't compete. I think right now it's actually the flip flop effect, but because people are white labeling sell it at such a high cost, it's making it feel that way. So some people are going to grow and some people are going to stay the same, you know? So,
Well, it's another tool. You know, I was thinking back to Ford and the original car and all the blacksmiths out there saying, "What are we going to do now?" And
right.
horses are saying, "I guess other than running in the Kentucky Derby, I'm not going to be needed anymore." You
That's right. Yeah.
so change is exciting, but and some people like you love it, and
Mhm.
I mean, maybe you're better at it than I am. There are times I don't want things to change, and you know, and I don't want another app that I have to change the app I like for because it's being upgraded or, you know, and I'm not techie. But you've got to, if you're going to drive a car, you have to learn how to drive a car. You have to learn how to work with this stuff. And you're a perfect person to help people do that. So
I
there's a
appreciate that.
plug for Matthew.
There it is. I love it. I love it. You're absolutely right. And then, so when it talks about business from your business strategy in the beginning to now, was it like word of mouth in the beginning, and then now is it more social media presence? Like, how is your business moving today versus what it was before?
I was thinking about that the other day. It was more than word of mouth, but it was much more community based, physically based. You know, I was in suburban
Yeah.
Philadelphia, and I was a family therapist, and I got my PhD. But I had to go out. It was almost like we're voting in California these few days, and they've been knocking on the door, wanting to
Door to
meet the
door.
local people. It's been interesting. I had to go knock on doors, so I would literally call. I called a couple of school systems in the area, and I said, I want to work with some of your students that are going to be in deep trouble if they don't get some help. And I work from a family model, and you don't have to pay me. I had to start somewhere.
Yeah,
So,
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
eventually they would, but it was really personally going out. And then, of course, the internet started, and and then COVID came. That was a big shift for me
It's crazy.
because
Yeah, it turned
you
crazy.
couldn't go.
Yeah.
And there's no place to go. I'd sit and I could, analyze my husband all day long, which
Yeah.
get a little boring, but it was just the
Yeah.
two of us there.
Yeah.
But Zoom made an incredible. I mean, it is brilliant,
Mhm. Yeah,
and
it's
it's what
amazing.
we're doing now. With what is it,
Riverside.
Riverside? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, and I'm glad there are smart people to do that kind of stuff. Social media has its place. I think it's overhyped in the way it's
Mhm.
used because, and I'm watching a lot of these influencers, fall down big hills lately. It makes me sad because it's a lot of press, but no substance underneath.
Yes, it's 100%. I believe that too. I think it's a great tool for business to getting to the right audience if you're selling a service or a product. But to be an influencer, you got to just run with the trends. That's it. You're just running the trends, you're running
Yeah.
the algorithm. I think, I worked with high ticket programs. A lot of them grew really well on YouTube and Instagram, right? And they only needed like 1,000 views to get 200 people excited about their product, right? I think used in that way, where it's like substance, like you said, behind it, it's amazing. But when it's just chasing trends, or it's just drama, or it's something else, or you're trying to get paid by Instagram, that's when things like, I think you become unauthentic, is the best way to say it.
Well, and so you're leading to where I am now
Mm.
because we're human. I mean, you're a human. You're not a bot, correct?
Mhm. Correct. Yeah.
I mean, I can see you, we talk about, are you Matt or
Yeah.
Matthew? But the fact is, this is the time for leadership to really do a
Mm.
deep dive into personal who we are.
Yeah.
This is not therapy, it's bigger than therapy.
Right.
And I'm going to give a little plug for my newest book
Do it.
that is
Yeah.
not out yet, and it's called The Glimmer Effect at Work. And the glimmer effect is about how triggers, we all get triggered, can be turned to glimmers.
Mm.
And I'm watching all over. I mean, there's news right now about people getting fired for speaking out and telling their truth. And I mean, it's pretty fascinating. And I'm watching the election stuff. But there is a place where if we can connect our head, our heart, and our gut,
Mm.
and our gut is like a second brain. It doesn't sound sexy. The brain sounds sexier than the gut. I mean, the
Mm.
gut's really there to absorb food and poop
Yeah.
it out, seemingly.
Yeah.
But the information is stunning. And so for me now, I basically, and I've been doing this for years, but I now have a model that I think is easier to absorb than it had been in the past, where you have to say, why do I behave the way I do? And why do I
Mm.
behave that way in front of my team? And why do I behave that way in front of new customers? And why do I behave that way in front of my husband, wife, lover, children, whatever?
Mm.
And the idea is we're all going to get triggered from things I talked about, our original organization, the family. It's deeply embedded in our nervous system.
Yeah.
Good,
Absolutely.
bad, or indifferent, it's there. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing we can do about it
It's
because
in
we
the
were kids.
DNA at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they'd say, go to your room, or you get a whack on the side of your head. You'd go to your room, and that caused a lot of people to become avoiders. I
Mm.
don't want to get yelled at. I don't want to get fired. I don't want to get, demoted. So I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Mm.
And that's not the way to live either. So what I'm doing now is, and I'll tell you my best AI story with this in a second, but what I'm doing is writing this book, and I've asked AI some questions to make sure, and it's given me great answers. And I have this 13 patterns, right?
Mhm.
So I'm on AI, and I'm asking about something or other, and it gives me an answer. And I didn't like the answer. I said, tell me more. And it gives me an answer. And I said, upgrade what you're saying. And it gives me an answer. And finally, AI said, Sylvia, you're being one of your patterns. I mean, this freaked me out. It, you're being a procrastinator.
Yeah.
Just lock it in. And I went, ooh, this is bigger than I thought. I mean, what do you do with that? You can turn the
Yeah.
computer off. You
Yeah.
can mind your own business, or you can pay attention. But we have to look at how everything is connected.
Mhm.
And Sylvia, who likes to be a peacemaker and, not a be quiet peacemaker, I like
Mhm.
conflict to be resolved. But it's really how everything is connected, and AI is part of the game.
Yeah. It's 100% true. Yeah, 'cause I think what really causes AI evolves with your personality tone and who you are. So then it just starts becoming like a part. I had the EA, the executive assistant, going today, and it does everything for me. I got really nerdy and connected it to everything. And I really see it as a friend. It's a weird feeling. I would be like, who would I be without this thing, right? So it's an interesting psychological effect. I was watching a podcast the other day. They say that the more technology evolves, you have to have a better understanding of people and yourself. Because if we lose value in the human, right, then we're going to lose value in the idea that we should be around and, or we shouldn't be around and that should be, right? Because it's an evolved version of us. And it's such a deep conversation to have. But what I get out of all these conversations, especially with executive coaches, is that as AI grows, your interpersonal skills have to be elite. Because the only thing you cannot change or you cannot allow AI to replace is interpersonal skills. There's energy transfer, there's conversational tones, there's
Absolutely.
conflict. So the average person on the phone or the average person building a relationship is going to lose to AI. But the person who rises to the top understands themselves emotionally, one, to interact with other people, but two, how to connect with a client, how to connect with a person is going to be the one at the top. Because now they have the tools to be an elite person, and now they have the interpersonal skills to kind of put them together, right? Which I think it's a beautiful story, but it's gonna not be good for people who don't know how to resolve their own internal emotional ego.
Well, but you use the right word. It's a friendly tool. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know. I never made this analogy before, and I hope horses don't get upset with this, but riding a horse, you're still in charge.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not a great horse
for
rider,
sure.
but I know when to pull the reins back and when
Yeah.
to go. move it, you know. And it's not that different here. It's a friendly addition, or
Yeah,
it can be, you know. And there's
yeah,
a lot of fear that's out there now. It's going to take over the world. Is it an alien? You know,
yeah,
I mean, blah 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 blah. But personally, if we can center ourselves and stay in coherence and stay aligned with ourselves, that's when the change, the positive changes come, and they come in the work world.
absolutely. Yeah. I think it's going to enhance the human experience, not replace it. It's just another tool. The thing is, the more honestly, I think fear is created to separate the weak to the strong so that people can evolve quicker without the population moving. I'll be honest with you, that's why the tools are so expensive. That's why, people are saying don't do it. It's going to steal all your data, even though it's a fully secured system, just like Google is, right? I think that it's almost purposeful, but what I'm trying to do is just break the barrier for people so they can be like, oh, people are very sharp and they forget that. And these tools are they're supposed to be user friendly. So like the iPhone, when you first got the laptop in 2000, that's actually way harder to operate than what we're operating today because it's built for the consumer, right? So
Exactly.
everything's built for you to be like, oh, this makes sense. Oh, this also makes sense, right? It's supposed to be an easy climb, not a hard one, right? But Sylvia, thank you so much for jumping on. I appreciate it so much. You're such a fun person to be around. It's been a great time connecting with you. How can people find you if they're interested in chatting with you? Like, just a quick plug to maybe website, email, phone number, whichever.
I think the website,
Mhm.
which, you know, they keep changing and upgrading. I remember a day, I know we don't have a lot of time, but I remember a day they said, oh, you have to have a half a dozen websites. I
Yeah.
had all these damn websites. I had a team working with it, but now it's like one website. So the
Mhm.
website, the name of our company is Creative Energy Options, which is CEO for short, which we named before I ever did the first thing in a business place, but it works, so we kept it.
Yeah.
And so the website is ceoptions.com. There's a place you can get on. And, there's a phone number on there. And I love calls. I love because we're hungry for community. We're
Mhm.
hungry for new people. I used to go speak all over the world, literally, but I'm not doing as much of it now. But anybody calls, and the phone number's on the website, and you can ask questions. You can get the books, and look out for my new book. It's going to be really, really, really good. And I have a co-writer on it at times. Uh,
Awesome.
I haven't named him or her yet, but when they told me I was being a procrastinator, I went, oh my God, this is more than I expected.
Wow.
Anyway,
Well,
I enjoyed being with you.
thank you so much. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it.
Okay.